I'm Anastasia, and I've been a business mentor for a couple of years for Two Brain, and I've been with Two Brain even before they became a Two Brain. So I've known Chris for a very long time, and I definitely wouldn't be where I am now without his help and other mentors at Two Brain. I'm from New Zealand, and I have a gym, well, with my husband together. So I'm originally from Russia, and I have two different accents that you can hear. But I promise, hopefully by the end of the speech, you will understand what I'm saying. I'll try to speak a little bit slow, but if you don't understand, don't ask questions because I've got lots of things to get through. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about leadership and motivation. And I have chosen this subject because in the last couple of years, I've realized that I was a bad leader. I thought I was great, and coming out of lots of management positions before opening the gym, I thought I was great, because I had those jobs and I was managing the teams, but whatever. Well, clearly wasn't that great. So I spent a couple of years just developing my own personal skills on leadership, and I would really like to share with you what I have learned. And it's definitely been quite eye-opener for myself, so hopefully what you're going to hear today is going to be helpful for you as well. Okay? You can nod your heads too, so don't make it so quiet and awkward because it just feels awkward standing here as it is. I actually had high heels that I was going to wear because I didn't know there was a stage. And when I realized there's a stage, I didn't want to be any taller. So now I'm just like this, nice and comfortable. Okay, so Napoleon once said that leader is a dealer in hope, right? So when we think of inspirational leaders, I personally think that Napoleon was right. We admire people who plant seeds of hope. We follow leaders who set sense of expectations inside of us. Right? You agree? Nod your heads. Okay, it's not so serious. Okay, motivation is a goal-oriented characteristic that's quite important in order to achieve goals. So the owner or the business manager has to have the right leadership traits to influence that motivation within the business. First question. Who did I quote? But you didn't put your hand up, that guy at the back. Cool, come and get your prize. You can have penguin pose. Everyone, hands up. Yeah. Well done. Thanks for listening.
That would have been my choice.
So why leadership is important? Most people do better with someone who knows where they're going, right? So without strong leader, your people can go well for a while, but then they're going to run out of steam eventually. And that actually can hurt not only your people, but profits as well. So we should try to improve our leadership skills in order to bring your employees or contractors, whoever you have, together. Also to help your people to understand what's expected of them. And help them to understand where the business is heading as well, because what I've realized over many mentoring calls is teams don't actually know what's going on in the business. And lots of leaders or owners, including myself, couldn't explain that to staff. I honestly say that it took me probably 4 years before I actually explained to my staff what our vision is. So we all were like working and doing things together, but no one knew why we're doing it, where we're going, what's planned. We just needed to make money and pay wages and keep everyone happy. So that's quite important to be able to help your team to understand where your business is heading. Also, to stay passionate about your vision and, of course, get more done. So what makes us a good leaders? Well, being a good leader is not easy, you know that. Leaders always getting judged by, things that happen, like when things go wrong or, not as planned. But what makes a difference is how we deal with those situations. As a leader, you should always have an open perspective on human nature. Knowing and understanding the different needs of your team can certainly make decision-making process easier. So good leaders use different intuitions as well, and they lead based on situation, their personalities, and also their values. We all know that some people need to be led more than others, right? And different employers also respond to different leadership styles. So it's important to take time to understand your team. I'm sure most of you have seen this pyramid, like today seems to be a theme of different pyramids. So this is, so Maslow first introduced this concept of hierarchy of needs in 1943. I guess, what year, right? But this hierarchy suggests that people are motivated to fulfill their basic needs before they move on to others' more advanced needs, right? So what does it mean for you? Normally when you have people that come and work for you, they already have their physiological needs met, right? They can breathe and whatever. So the next step before you ask them to do more advanced things or things that are out of their comfort zone, for example, you need to ensure that they feel safe and secure within your team, okay? Like for example, they know they're doing a good job and you tell them they're doing a good job. They're not the weakest link, you know, they know they're not gonna lose job and things like that. So as a leader, you need to ensure that they feel safe and secure before you will ask them to do something challenging that's outside of their comfort zone. Does it make sense? Yes. Sorry for my little pinchy voice. It's, I guess, the flu talking a little bit. So with that, why is it important to us? Well, because good leaders can relate to and understand their followers. Oprah once explained that 3 things every human being wants most are seen, heard, and understood. And that's a sense of empathy as well. Question? Are you ready? So what are the 3 things? You were first. Nice. I don't even know if it was the right answer. Come and get your prize. Good job. You get kiwi worms today. You're welcome. So there's lots of qualities that good leaders have, but I would like to point out 5 that I personally considered are important traits that I have learned and implemented within myself that I've seen working, okay? So the first one is ability to have a clarity. The leaders have a very clear vision. They know what their mission is and what their values are and what's important for their business. And I know we have spoken a lot today about the vision and making decisions and all that stuff, so I feel like I'm summarizing today's weekend pretty much. So they use those values as a decision-making tool to get them closer to their vision, right? Good leaders, also great communicators, and they're able to explain their vision to their staff. Okay? And the most important, they help them to understand that vision. One thing to put in your playbook what your vision is for your business, and completely different thing is actually explain to your team what it is, why it's important, and how to get there. So also good leaders are clear and concise at all times, and there's no question of their, of their vision and what needs to be accomplished to get there. Number 2, and Eden spoke about it today. Was it today? Yesterday. When did you speak? Yesterday. All in one day. Cool. So build relationship on trust, and this is super, super important. I can't express how important it is, and I know how hard it is to trust someone when you've been kind of, as a business owner, lonely for so long, and then suddenly you start trusting your staff. It is important though. So business that build on trust generally is more profitable. And it also can create great workplace culture, and it's essential business strategy as well. So it can positively affect your operating costs, your staff retention, your staff engagement, and also performance outcomes. But remember, trust is a two-way street. Sorry, I forgot to change my slide. So it's a two-way street. The more you trust your staff, the more they will trust you and the way you run your business. If your staff don't trust you, they will struggle with understanding your decisions, and they will struggle with your team culture as well. If your staff trust you, they work harder, they support your decisions, and they also got your back and they're loyal. When people trust you to look after them, they'll repay you by looking after your business. So how do you help your staff to trust you? And the biggest thing is to show them that you treat everyone fairly. That's the first step towards the trust. So how do you make them feel that you treat everyone fairly? Is by, before you make decision who's going to do how many hours, you need to talk to all of them, ask them how many hours do they want to work, how much do they want to earn, what's their perfect day. Know what they want, what they need first, and then try to align it together with what your business needs. Okay, so then when you make those decisions, you make those decisions not only what you want, but also what your staff want, okay, because you're trying to build that trust within your team. Also, processes and structures. Like, how do you apply? Do you evaluate your staff? Are you consistent and persistent with your expectations? Are you treating all of them exactly the same based on measurable points? Or do you just make decisions based on how you feel on a day? So in our team, for example, I don't do evaluations. Our head coach doesn't do evaluations, but we have a team of coaches that evaluate each other. So then decision is not made on how somebody feel about that person, but based more on actual measurable questions that they just have to answer when they do evaluations. So then every time there's a different person evaluating different coach. So then you can actually see that there's no emotions attached to it, and it's fair. The third one is being consistent and committed. That's important. So leaders make their mind and they don't hesitate to commit, right? So they lead by example, and that's quite important as well. And they make sure that, their staff know that they're willing to do same work, what they're asking them, the staff to do. So, but what I mean is, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying show and lead by example, working 40 hours a week coaching. No, not at all. What I mean is showing the good work-life balance and prioritizing your mental and physical state, as well as knowing your craft. So if you want your staff to be active, well, you need to get yourself in the gym, exercise, eat clean. You need to lead by example that way as well. And, go on holidays. How do they know, your staff work and they work really hard, but how do they know what is a good life-work balance if you don't show them what it is? So prioritize your own time. Take your family away. Go on just a weekend away if you can't go for the week, okay? The fourth one is have a courage and ability to make decisions. And you've had Josh here before talking about making decisions, right? So I'm just going to make it real quick on this one. The leaders not only need the mental horsepower to process information, but they also need a personality and the confidence to trust their own decisions and also follow them through. That's quite important. You can make all decisions in the world. You can decide whatever, you're going to be the best boss in the world by working out, but you need to commit to it and follow through. And the last one is lead with intention to motivate others. There's different styles of motivation, and you can be, dictate what to do and how to do, but the best one that I realize that works the best is trying to lead by motivating others. Question. So what are the 5 things that I think the best traits? I can't hear you.
What's that?
Louder.
Be clear, trustworthy, consistent, courageous, motivational.
Cool. Awesome. What would you like? Cow poos or sheep droppings?
Surprise me.
It's so hard. Sheep droppings look good.
Thank you.
So, how can we motivate our staff? Well, there's different ways that you can motivate, and Eden spoke about motivation as well. So the first one I've got here is harmonize and match staff needs with your organizational needs. So as a leader, you must ensure that your staff know your vision and your values, and you know their values as well. And then you try to align them. So it's okay if they don't align. I have a coach, she's still a coach, and when I hired her and asked her, after I hired her, asked her about her values, and they were completely different from our business values or my personal values. And I kind of sit down and thought, oh, okay, well, that's going to be interesting, that's going to be challenging. I don't know how we're going to make that work. But we did, and it was fine. And then one day, one of her values were equality. So she wanted everyone to be treated equally. I was like, great, awesome, okay. One day she came to me and asked for special treatment. Well, what do? You bring up her own values to her, right? She asked me, like she does Whole30, and she's got her own whatever profile on Whole30 website. So a client came through that website, not through our website, and she asked if she can, coach that client. I was like, yeah, great, send them to our website, we'll put the purchase through, and then you can do what you normally do and get 4 nines, like everyone does. And she said, I don't feel comfortable doing that way because they didn't come through our website. I don't feel comfortable charging them what we charge at the gym. And I don't feel it's fair that you're going to be taking a cut. How about we go 50-50? Not much different, right? 50-50 or 44-6, whatever, 56, so pretty close. But I said no, because one of your values is you want everyone to be treated equally. So because of that, you come in here to me and asking for me to treat you differently to all other coaches, and it's not fair. So the answer was no. And that was the end of conversation. She understood because I brought her values back to her that she said they were important to her. So knowing values of what's important to your staff is really important, because when you have this, difficult, important conversations, you can bring it back and deliver it to them, okay? Appreciation and reward is key motivators as well that influence person to achieve their goals, right? So if you notice that your staff or you've done something really well, get them a little reward, get them a card, say thank you. But if you do so, make sure you tell them what exactly they did right, because that will encourage positive behavior in the future. But if you just get them a card and say, hey, you're awesome, high five, and not tell them what exactly they did, they wouldn't know. What exactly did they coach good class, or did they, build good relationship with new client, or whatever it is? Make sure you tell them what it is. So then in the future, they'll want to do it again, okay? Being a role model is also a key motivator. You always set example to your staff, okay? The way you behave, the way you present yourself in public. One big lesson that I've learned, be aware of what I comment on the public pages, because all my staff can see, all my members can see, and if you want to be a good leader and lead by example, you need to be aware of what you put out there, okay, for everyone to see. The last one is my favorite one. It's encouraging your staff to get involved in planning and important issues or resolution procedures. What I mean is, like, when you have something important that you want to implement at your gym, or something important that you want to discuss, bring them all to the meeting. You're still the final decision maker, but they might have good ideas that you don't see because you're so emotionally connected to your idea, but also they will learn outcomes of those decisions. If it was a bad decision, they will learn because it was part of their decision. But if it was your decision on your own, they will judge you because you were on your own. So it also will make them feel valuable, and it will help them to understand what their role in the business as well. And it will help them to grow. Developing team culture can certainly have a key impact on your well-being of your business, and often overlooked or considered incidental as well. So, like I said before, a leader's actions and decisions can affect team culture and the staff. So be aware of what you put out there, what you post on social media. How do you dress up to the meetings? Do you turn up on time? Especially, if you're still coaching and you expect your coach to wear a coach uniform, make sure you do as well. If you expect them to be there 15 minutes before the class, be there before the class. Do everything that you expect them to do because they look up to you. You are the leader, so they follow your steps. And the last one is give them challenges. They need to feel like they're accomplishing something so they don't get bored or stale within their roles as well. And the best way to do it is through delegating. So your job as a leader is to manage your team, right? Create goals and a vision and make sure that your boat is sailing to the right direction. So if you are too busy doing all those jobs yourself, you actually won't have time to track your team's performance and progress, right? So as a leader, your role is to ensure that you're helping your staff with their development as well. And delegating tasks helps with just that. Also, by delegating and freeing up some time, you will have more time for yourself to work on those goals, on a bigger picture and direction of your business as well. Because we all know if you're doing all the classes and admin and cleaning and whatever, you won't have time for anything else. You won't be able to just sit down for an hour, go for a walk and think about where you want to go with your business because you're so tired, you're exhausted and so consumed by everyday, day-to-day stuff. And also, delegating recurring tasks will help you to feel less stressed and more focused. And by trusting your team to do the work, you can create more loyal and engaged staff. So that's just a bonus, right? So your staff will feel appreciated as well, and it will help them with their personal development and also their self-esteem. So we know all of that, right? Most of us do. I'm sure everyone. But why don't we delegate? And there's a few things why I didn't delegate in the first place. So first is ego. You think that no one is, you think that no one can do the job as well as you do. So then you just don't delegate. Well, everyone is replaceable, including you. At some point, you were a coach, right? At some point, you worked for someone else. And now you're a business owner. So same with your staff. They work for you now, but they can own a business in the future as well. So trust them and delegate, okay? They can do a job just as well as you can. The next one, you think it takes too long to delegate. That was me too. You need to make sure that you create processes, you're creating all those SOPs, help them. The more time you spend with them at the start, the less you will have to spend in the future. Okay? We don't trust our stuff. But as we spoke about it before, you need to learn how to trust your stuff. Okay? We might like to do that task ourselves, and that's me. I love finance, I love money, so I still do my own bookkeeping, I still do my taxes because I actually enjoy doing that. And that's okay. And if you like coaching or if you like doing something else, you can keep that. That's fine. But at some point, you will need to start delegating things off your plate. And the last one is guilt. You think that they already do enough and they won't have time to take anything else on. But you think that, right? So you don't know that for sure. And the only way you're going to find out is by catching up with your staff one-on-one regularly, and actually asking them what they want to do, if they want to do more, how many hours they want to work as well. And then giving them extra stuff to do and see how they go. So if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are the leader. So why should we delegate? There's a question, by the way. Come on, it's a question. Okay, you go.
Take things off your plate, ego, to cafes, to
But why?
But why? Why should we delegate? So we have the freedom to run our business, to live the life we want, have our perfect day.
Cool. You've got cow poos. Come and get it. Thank you. So remember, to become an efficient leader, you need to be self-motivated. You must know your identity, your needs, and you must have a strong urge to do anything to achieve those goals. Once you are self-motivated, then you can actually concentrate on motivating others. So you always need to start looking within yourself. If you feel like you have a dysfunctional team, start working within yourself first before you look at your team. Okay? And that was kind of big realization point for me personally. So the captain is responsible for all aspects of operation, like safe navigation, making that boat going to the right way, and all certificates and documentations and management and staff and food and everything. So, do you like my captain over there? And so the ship captain is final authority for everyone on board. You are the captain of your own ship, right? So your job is to steer your boat to the right direction, following your vision and aligning it with your values. If boat is sinking, the captain has to ensure that everyone's safe off the boat before they can get off the boat. Okay, they're responsible for everyone on the boat. So what does it mean for you? You are responsible for those who are in your trust. You got to look after your staff and empower them to be the best version of themselves. They are your assets, they're not your liability. Okay? And like I said before, if something is not right with one of the staff member, look at yourself first and then have a conversation with them to see why that could be happening. Like, are they happy? Do they feel, like they're achieving something? Okay? So to summarize my speech today, I would like to point out a couple of things. The best leaders can create a shared sense of purpose. They're clearly communicating their vision and taking their people along on journey. They treat people fairly. They give in credit when it's due, and they also take personal responsibilities when things go wrong. They create a culture of continual learning, motivating their people in an environment where they can grow and learn. So allow them to fail. Give them those challenges. Commit to doing the right things. Accept that you have a moral duty to everyone, the business ethics, right? To your staff family, your community. And strengthen the relationships. Communicating clearly and respectfully, taking time to build a trust, and being consistently fair. So, you probably noticed somebody's walking around giving you little notes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to find out what kind of leader you are. It's a little test that I would like you to do. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Go through the questions. There is a little picture at the end that you have to match the question answer to the picture. And then by the most pictures that you get, you're going to read description of your leadership style. Okay? And then we'll do a little exercise after that. So you've got 5 minutes to go through this, guys. So what I want you to do, guys, today is focus what you're good at. So you can see from descriptions there are things that you can get better at, there are things you're good at. So today I want you to focus on what you're good at, because things that you need to work on, it takes time, okay? But things that you're good at, you can actually implement right now. So as an exercise, what I want you to do is, I want you to discuss that at your table. What can you apply to your team as of now or tomorrow when you get back to your work or business? Like, what changes can you make based on what you're good at as a leader? Okay, so what I want you to do is discuss 1 to 3 ideas, might be ideas or might be a problem that you currently have with one of your staff member, and then think about, as a leader, what you're good at and how you're going to implement that to change the situation. Okay, and then I want you to write it down and keep each other accountable by email or Facebook Messenger, whatever you prefer, but share those details with each other at the table so you can actually then email each other a week later and ask how did that conversation go. I'm very glad to see that you're having amazing conversations and you can carry on your conversations afterwards as well. Remember to get your emails, and so you can keep each other accountable on this one, so you can carry on talking about it as well. So just remember that the best leaders can actually switch between leadership styles. And like I said, some of you might have split personalities with different pictures, right? And that's okay. It just means that you're adjustable to different situations as well and to different staff members. Cool? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.